I'm wondering if we could actually go into our brief historical kōrero now. It's just a 5-minute kōrero. And then after our kōrero, we'll go to Piripi with our hakapohiri. And then we'll finish we'll go to Huia with our hakapohiri. Then we'll head into the final part, the kahoots. Okay. If you were tuned into Karakia the other night or last week, there was a kōrero on the Battle of Otaua. A very, very important battle, this Otaua battle. Why? Because, let's say, all of the lead fighting chiefs of the Ngāti Whātua Confederated Hapu, they all died there. These are the two brothers, Pou Tapuaka and Atiakura. They both died there. We've got Tupiriri's father, Hukatere. We think he died there. You've also got the great Pokopoko, who became a taniwha. He died there, as well as a host of others. So these are the great war chiefs of the, let's say, we're talking around about one generation before the invasion of Tamaki. So we're talking around 1720, 1715, that this battle at Otaua took place, around about 1720. So how did it happen that all of these rangatira of Ngāti Whātua should end up in the back of Kaikohe at a battle? Now, I was really privileged to take a ride with my cousin Te Kura in his truck on the back of, coming through that back way, through the back of Kaikohe, Otaua. We stopped there at the battlefield, and then we drove over the ranges, and we made our way into the back of Kaihu. They call that the gate. So that's the gateway that war parties would travel between Kaikohe and Kaihu. So if you quickly wanted to knock off and get a bit of revenge or utu, you use that back path to Otaua. Okay, we're going to rewind it a couple of generations before Pokopoko and all of these great warriors, and you had a fella by the name of Tukoia. Now, most of you, or a lot of you, Orake lot, you come down from Tukoia. I can see, yep, yeah, there's a lot of you who come down from Tukoia. So here's a whakapapa for Tukoia before I get into the story. Tukoia, his daughter was Hine ki te Whakatere, and Hine ki te Whakatere marries Ruarangi. This is Pokopoko's son. So Tukoia's daughter marries Pokopoko's son. Ruarangi, they have te tinana. Te tinana has te ueue, and te ueue has te kēne tangaroa. Bernie, I can see you writing this down. I'll go back. So we've got Tukoia has Hine ki te Whakatere. She marries Ruarangi, and they have te tinana. Te tinana has te ueue, and te ueue has te kēne tangaroa. Te kēne tangaroa, he's the last of that line in terms of they call themselves, I've forgotten the hapu name. I'll get back to that in a minute. Anyway, te kēne tangaroa marries Apihai, te Kauau's daughter, Hera Whakamama. Ka pai? Yeah. So there's that line from Tukoia down to Hera Whakamana and te kēne tangaroa. The basic story is that Tukoia was killed by a ngāpuhi, Ope. He was part of a small crew that basically was chased back down into the Kaipara by a ngāpuhi crew, and he was killed. And it's my understanding that Tukoia was a well-known, well-liked chief. However, one generation later, nobody got revenge for the death of Tukoia. 2 generations later, e takota tonu ana tērā take ki era o ngā hapu o te kaipara. And so you had that death still hadn't been avenged. And so there was a baby. There was a baby that was born. And the baby's name was Te Rangi Kaimanawa. And Te Rangi Kaimanawa, who happened to be an uri of Tukoia, this baby was held up in different villages around the kaipara, and an ori was sung. And the ori was for the baby. And the ori was about Tukoia dying and how no one had gotten revenge for the death of Tukoia, this much-loved chief. Now, it got to the ears of all of the big chiefies of the day, Te Poko and all the rest of them. They all felt really stink because no one had gotten revenge for the death of Tukoia. So it was decided upon that they would get their ope together, and they got their ope together. And it's my understanding that they went up the Wairoa River from the Kaipara. They went up the Wairoa River, and then they probably went into the Kaihu River. And then over the gate there into the back of Otaua. Now, Ngā Puhi had heard about this ope being pulled together, and they actually were quite concerned because they'd heard who the leading chiefs were, and they were really, really quite concerned. And so Ngā Puhi Nui Tonu pulled in this massive ope, and they were all lined up in all their different hapu at Otaua, and they were pretty much expecting this hit squad from Ngāti Whātua to come in, and they were pretty concerned, eh? I won't say they were trembling, but they were quite concerned. Anyway, as this ope was getting closer, the Ngā Puhi tohunga got together, and they had karakia so that it would rain and flood the rivers. Now, in preparation, this Ngā Puhi contingent had dug a long ditch. They dug a ditch, yeah? And so you had most of the hapu standing in front of the ditch, but behind the ditch, you had the lead chief, and his name was Tarutaru from Te Rarawa. And Tarutaru, he knew who these warriors were that were coming, and he was, quite concerned. And so anyway, these Ngā Puhi tohunga had their karakia. Down came the rain, and up came the flood levels, and all the ground got swampy. Out of the bush appeared the Ngā Puhi war party. And man, they were freaking awesome. And they knocked over the first hapu, and they knocked over the second line of defense. And Tarutaru from Te Rarawa was watching from behind the ditch, and he was like going, oh my gosh, boom, boom, boom. All the hapus were getting knocked over until the Ngā Puhi, all of your tupuna, Pautapuaka, Atia Kura, his brother, and Hukatere, all of them, they got to the ditch, didn't see the ditch. It was covered over. Yeah, very, very, very cheeky. The ditch was covered over. They fell into the ditch, and they were easy picking. Some of them drowned, some of them got told. And but you know what? These tupuna were so revered that their heads were taken, and Poko and a couple of others, their heads were taken and taken up on top of the big maunga and Hokianga, at Papata and the other maunga up there. And so, yep, they were revered by this Ngā Puhi crew, so they took their heads and they put them up in these maunga. And so that there is the great battle of Otaua. And although we can think about it and be sad and reflect on the loss of all those great chiefs, what it did do was it made room for the next generation of warriors to come through. So you had the likes of Tauhia and Tupiriri and Waha Akiaki all coming through and being able to grow and be the great men that they were, as well as our great women. Ka pai? Okay, I'm going to leave that there. That there's one of the stories of Otaua. And if you want more detail and more depth, well, you've got a number of people who can help you there, including Te Kura, Ropata, and others. Okay, let's leave that there. we're going to go into our hakapohiri. I'll hand it over to Huia.